What's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée here at Money 2020, and look who I'm standing next to right now. We just got out of the Ripple party, and I'm with my man, the one and only Ben Armstrong, also known as Bitboy Crypto. What's poppin', Ben?
Not much, man. Just here at this money conference talking to these bankers. What's up?
One of your favorite things to do, I'm sure. Yeah, I also was telling them about my new song, I Can Lead You to the Money, where I actually give Bitboy a shout out on that song because that's where I learned the game from. And you know, I like to always give credit to where I learn things because that's all we can really do. And so I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions.
Yeah.
What's really been going on lately in crypto? I've seen you've been real worked up, real fired up on your channel. Let's get what's on your mind.
Yeah, so I think what people have to understand is there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes you can't see right now. And there's a lot of people that are bad actors, and they're trying to manipulate crypto and move it in the direction that they want it to. Whereas you can tell someone who's authentic about crypto and the decentralization because we're always looking for ideas on how to decentralize it. How can we make it so that there's not one person at the top making decisions? So even when you find people that are doing things like pushing bills, we have a bill that we've authored. The whole thing is not to make crypto laws. It's about how to choose the mechanisms to make those laws through in a decentralized way. So I think what's got me really fired up, obviously, is SBF. And a roundabout way, I learned that he's basically trying to create a federal bit license, which if you're from New York, the bit license is the worst legislation in the history of crypto. And so there's people out there fighting for this right now. And I know it's fun to talk about price and crypto going up and bear market and bull market, but the real stuff that's going on behind the scenes right now is what is going to leave a lasting mark.
Well, one thing I want to ask you about that, so let's say for like the regular folks right now, right, other than voting every 2 years, like what is it that you think we can do to voice our opinion about that or have a say, actually have a sway in issues like that?
Yeah, I think that number one, obviously, like you can call your congressman, you can call your senator. Does that do anything? I don't know. I don't know if it does or not. But there will be, in the coming months, things coming out that are going to be directions in which the regulation is going to move, and then retweet. Talk about this legislation. If there's stuff that you like about it, make sure you're talking about it because the social component is much more important than you calling your senator or your congressman. So the whole thing is there will be a time very soon where people will have to decide they'll have to choose which side they're on in crypto. It's going to be happening. In America, it's very scary what could happen. And you might say, oh, well, people can just move to Dubai or crypto companies can move to Dubai. Yeah, they can. And guess what? The banks here that are driving a lot of this legislation, they don't care. They say, fine, move. Do crypto somewhere else. We don't want that. We want crypto to be very friendly in the United States. The thing that you can do is just support the people that are trying to move this forward and fight against those that are trying to move us backwards.
Right, and that's one of the things I like to do on my show, Poppin' Crypto, is just spread awareness to everything that's going on. Like you say, retweet. Always retweet, you guys. You got a good story or something you think is valuable information, share it. I always try to encourage people to share it. I'm always retweeting your stuff and a whole bunch of other good crypto information for sure. But another thing I want to talk about is my song, because something that we talk about, you just mentioned bad actors in crypto. I have a line in it that I'm going to spit it for you one time just so you can hear how it goes. It goes, so yeah, I'll be buying when the market ain't the healthiest. Keep it in your wallet if you want to be the wealthiest. Because if not your keys, not your crypto, when they steal it, you'll be hella pissed. Say it with me one time now. F Celsius.
You can actually use that for the video.
Right on. F Celsius. Because Celsius was a bad actor, and I don't know how much they got from you, but they got a lot from me, and then they doxed everybody, so you can go on there and type people's names in and see how much they got. And it really pissed me off because also I told someone else to put money in Celsius. You know what I mean?
Think about how many people I told to use Celsius. And people will look at this and say, oh, well, you were getting money from ref links. No. 99% of the time we talked about Celsius, it was from a standpoint of it's such a legit platform you can trust it. Like, we didn't have to do any promotion because we used it. We had $3 million on there. It was $15 million in the bull run, and it was down to $3 million, and it's gone now. And it's this kind of thing where when it comes to crypto influencers, people who have voices in the space, we did an extremely bad job at trusting third parties. Celsius obviously fits within that. Then the next bull run, when more users are coming, we've got to do a much better job of preaching hesitancy. There's a percentage of your portfolio that you can put on a place like Celsius, not Celsius, but don't ever put so much on one place that if it goes insolvent, you're broke. Like it breaks your portfolio. So I think really that's what we have to do in the space, to have a better responsibility of teaching people the concepts, and then they can take that and do what they want from it. I can't help it if somebody wants to throw all their money on Celsius, before it went insolvent. We had money on there. I think that to me is the biggest proof that we had faith in it. And it sucks for us, for sure. We're still dealing with repercussions from it. And I think Voyager people are going to get most of their money back. I think Celsius people will end up getting less than half back, 30% maybe what we're looking at. So that may be favorable. That may be good.
I was going to say I'd be happy with 30% instead of nothing, but the main thing is right. I've been preaching hesitancy about that. I'm everything in the wallet, just like I say in the song. I mean, it was a shocker at the time. I actually was standing right next to Alex Machinsky in Miami when he was doing his speech at the Celsius party, where he's breaking both of his arms to pat himself on the back, talking about how regulators came in and up his ass so much that it's like a proctologist and all this kind of stuff, and they didn't find anything. You know, he literally told me this to my face, you know, and I filmed him. So that was like, I don't know, it just hits different when you actually are personally standing right next to the guy.
We all feel betrayed by him. Yeah. Like, we feel stabbed in the back because I'm right in the same boat. I interviewed him several times. He had me on his show a couple weeks before this broke. And it was like, you know what, though? I noticed when I was on that show on the Celsius channel, it's like something's a little bit different, because he was trying to control what I said. Before we went live, he said, he's like, well, what do you want to talk about? I said, well, I want to talk about how, like, we're in a bear market, and I think, like, we're in November in a couple of days, but back then, that was, I guess, back in May. And I said, I think we're going to bottom sometime in November this year. He's like, no, don't talk about that. We want to talk about, like, good things, positive things. We don't want to talk about the price going down more. I was like, that's so inauthentic. Like, that's not real. And it was the first time I ever heard him say stuff like that, and it gave me a little bit of pause. And then when everything broke a couple weeks later, I started adding up like, and that's one of the things where you just have a moment where you feel like something's not right, just go with your gut. I should have went with my gut and done a little more investigation on it, but it's because I liked him so much and I trusted him so much. And you know how it is, it's like, if you have a family member who's got a bad drug problem, and you see them and you kind of know, you're like, they're not doing good right now. But you don't want to go ask them, because if you ask them, you're going to feel like, I don't even want to bring this up right now. It's, that's kind of how it was with me and Alex with this thing. Like, I heard some rumors, but like, I know him, I love it. I didn't want to bring it up, but I should have. I should have went with my gut. I should have listened, and we could have warned more people. And guess what? Maybe I wouldn't have lost all my money.
Right, well, I mean, that's something hard to know. I do want to put it on kind of on an optimistic note, right? I know we're in a bear market. One thing I talk about in my song is, yeah, we're in a bear market, but things are down right now largely because of the macro environment, right? A lot of stocks are down too, though. Other, thing on the markets. What do you think?
No, I think that's false.
Okay, what do you think?
I think that's obvious that people would think that, but what's really interesting is, especially being at this money conference and talking to people about the macro and how it relates to Bitcoin. Bitcoin follows a 4-year cycle. Every 4 years, during the midterm election years, Bitcoin bottoms for that cycle. So that bottom should be around the end of this November, about a month from now, maybe beginning of December. If Bitcoin does not drop down to $10,366, let's say it just drops to $14,000 or $13,000, or maybe we've already hit a bottom, this would actually be percentage-wise the lightest bear market in history. So when you're looking at the macro is the worst it's ever been. And yet, for Bitcoin, this would be the lightest percentage bear market ever. You got to wonder, how much does the macro really have to do with Bitcoin? I think that's a real question people got to ask.
Well, what I was leading to is now the time we start dollar cost averaging in to start buying the dip. That's what I'm getting at. People are afraid things are down right now, but it's also an opportunity is how I look at it.
It's only an opportunity. I remember a person after person back in 2018 that said, man, when Bitcoin drops to $3,000, I'm going to mortgage my house. You know what happened? Bitcoin dropped $3,000, $3,200. You know what happened? Nobody mortgaged their house. The amount of fear that comes in at those levels is immense. That's why the people that have been here for a long time and been in the space, they're the people you need to listen to, because we've seen this before. We know the numbers. We know how this plays out. I definitely do believe dollar cost averaging right now is definitely a good move. It may not be the best price you're going to get, but it's a good price.
I think we're closer to the bottom than the top. Well,
yeah.
I appreciate talking to you, man, and being in the music video, too.
Well, I've been known to spit a couple bars myself, you know what I'm saying?
He's going to spit a couple. Okay, we're going to have to get him on the next track for sure, right there. That's what's popping with your boy Cassius Cuvée out here. Let's get it. You missed a good one if you wasn't there. Taking over the game, man. NFTs, all that. That's how we get it, man. Artists taking it back for ourselves.